All right, I'm Tahu Baraka. I want to let you guys know that we had a wonderful time yesterday, August 18th, 2019, at the spot in the back of the world famous Superior Barbershop. There was a discussion mainly of what we're going to do to try to unify and where we're going to take ourselves in the future through resources and trying to connect certain entities together to make things happen. It was a beautiful day. We actually were able to hit on some key points about a lot of stuff, but there's still more work to be done. So Brother Fred and everybody else, I want to thank you all for coming down and doing what you all had to do from Chicago. Chicago was down, Ohio was down. Unfortunately, Oakland couldn't make it down, but we got the word across of everything that we tried to put together yesterday.
San Diego!
San Diego!
My name is John Africa. Yesterday was a day of unity. It was a day that was free. And when I say free, it was free for us to come together. It's free for us to love each other. It's free for us to be truthful with each other and to be fair with each other. So therefore, the things that we need to begin, it costs nothing. It costs nothing at all for us to be able to unify with one another and be able to discuss and talk and find the ways to do the things that need to be done that can take us forward in a better way, for a way that can bring us together once again as it was in the beginning of it all.
Yesterday was beautiful. It was beautiful seeing our people come together, and I saw a common thread between what everybody was saying. And for me to elaborate on what everybody said is that I think it's time for us to realize as a community that we need to stop worshiping material things. We got that bad as black people. Everything has to be a symbol of status. We want the Jordans, we want the car, we want to pimp the people to get what we want. So we start doing the work and stop trying to idolize material things. We'll be all right. But I'm definitely optimistic. About where we're going from here.
And I feel so blessed to be at the world famous Imperial Barbershop. I've heard a lot of talk about this place years to come before we ever even made it in. But I'm so glad I had the opportunity to be here with these brothers and sisters yesterday and our young ones to share in this energy. It was so much energy here, we knew that we would be a part of some type of attack. Because as you look around, you start seeing the police pull around, you started looking for some action, but what we had was peace. In this place, there were peace. We had happy kids that I love to see. He can run around all day, that just give me energy. We had happy peace because we had a community of people to come together. We were so glad to travel from Chicago here. Now I'm hoping that we can go from Chicago to San Diego to New York to Atlanta to Memphis to Arkansas and bring, like this brother said, sew this piece together with this fine thread that we had. Nobody else had this thread, so it's going to take our community. So in this podcast, we just want to get some opinions about some of the things we can do as far as education. Now, I was talking to this brother Africa right here. He said some things, man, the other day that kept me going all night. So I want to get his opinion about this educational piece. And we're just going to move real fast because we don't want to take a lot of time with this. But I want brothers to hear the energy that's actually in the room. Because people pay attention to like the brother said, all that name brand stuff. This brand has always been named the best, the mighty, the glorious, but we don't give it that. So today we're going to give it just what it deserves. And we're going to talk about education first. Help me out, brother. You gave me something yesterday. Hit me in the head again.
With education, our children, our people, and even we have been taught within a system that it teaches us in a way of confining us and containing us. And we're not really never taught about self. Yourself is the most important thing within life because within the end of the day, you have to know how to control you, you have to know how to maintain you, and you have to know how to maneuver you. Now, if we don't understand our feelings, our emotions, sometimes we grow up being angry, being mad, and being out of control. When you're able to be in control, you're able to be powerful. But yet you cannot be powerful if you never was raised within yourself. And therefore, how can your parents teach you what they don't know?
They don't know.
But yet, if we start sharing with those who don't know, by the way of us who do know, we have a chance to maybe reform, reshape, and bring up a whole new generation of people of knowing themselves.
You mentioned something about the zero. Let's go back to the zero before one.
Zero represent wholeness and completeness. Within the zero represent beginning. When you train or learn how to box, you don't jump in the ring and fight heavyweight champion. You begin to learn how to box to work your way up to that level of boxing. Well, with education, you have a beginning. But if your school system teaches you to start before you begin, well then you go through life with missing links, never really knowing yourself, never be able to conquer yourself or be able to control yourself. Now, if you have a chance to begin within yourself, you have a chance to become whole and complete. Some say it's impossible to become whole and complete, but no, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't possible. The sun allows you to see anything is possible.
That's why the circle is round in seven.
Yes, indeed.
That was powerful. That was powerful. We got another brother here that, you know, he was here just yesterday. His humbleness is so strong. You can see the brother is so quiet, but I know he's a lion. So give us something about what you took away from yesterday.
I mean, to be honest with you, I saw some things that, or heard some things rather, that I actually disagree with. You know, the analogy was given of not allowing a chimpanzee to teach a gorilla, right? I think as black people, what we have to be conscious of is not to become the same people that we hate. They have a book called Animal Farm, and it speaks about how it's an analogy of communism, and it shows how pigs overthrew the communists or the people only to become like humans themselves, right? So I totally disagree with the notion that you cannot take a white person or anybody else as a teacher because they're not of the same ethnic background as you, right? We gotta be rational and we gotta be realistic. We need to go for who's qualified, right? Because just because a person is black, it doesn't mean that what they're teaching is true either, right? And it doesn't mean that they're qualified to teach, right? We have to go for who's qualified. On the same notion, it doesn't mean that because your teacher taught at Yale that they're qualified or that they're telling the truth either, right? When we go into these institutions, we have to realize that we can be institutionalized not only in a prison, but in any institution, whether it's a mental health institution, whether it's a university, or whether it's a prison, right? An institution basically means, institutionalized means you cannot function outside of the institution. So you have people that are doctors, but not practicing doctors. They have doctorate degrees, but they're not healing anyone.
Right.
So when we go to these educational, these schools, we have to go with the mind frame that I'm going to get this paper, this degree to practice. I'm not going here with the intention to believe everything they taught me, because if I believe what they told me that the whole universe came here coincidentally by accident with no purpose, right? This is what they teach you in biology. So going in there, it doesn't mean that you have to be brainwashed. It doesn't mean that the person that's teaching you is totally full of lies. And going to the black shaman up the street, it doesn't mean that what he's going to teaching you is the truth either. Right. We have to go for what's qualified, we have to go for proofs, we have to go for evidence, and we have to go for what's practical. Stop trying to find the secrets to the universe if you don't even know how to treat your neighbor the same way you want to be treated. Right? We gotta go for what's practical. You know, and I think that's in education also. It starts at the home. You know, we gotta teach our wives. And we should be married. You know what I'm saying? All that girlfriend philosophy, that gotta stop. Right? But if you're married, you have to teach your wife. And if you can't teach your wife, you need to go learn so you can teach your wife, so they can teach the kids. Education starts at home, right? But it doesn't end at home though.
Like the brother said yesterday, what is the first defense of your home is the man. So the man should be able to go out and learn and come back and teach the sister, who's going to then teach the seed that you produce. And one of the issues in our community is that we've learned, or we've been taught to separate ourselves. And I truly agree with you when you said that it don't matter where the lesson come from. It's how you perceive and what you take from it. Because I truly can say I've had many different people to teach me things. And I'm only going to accept what I feel comfortable with. But at a certain point, if we don't allow kids to see a reflection of themselves, it will be an issue. We noticed that in the 60s and the 70s. We know that there was a switch. We know that the system was put in place to dictate how we became a family. So when Bill Cosby was coming in the 80s and 90s, showing us how to be a family, people wasn't really used to that. We weren't really used to that because we saw Mr. Welfare when they was pushing us out of making a man hide in the closet so you get a welfare check, and it showed you the signs of separation. So I understand that too, and I definitely agree with you, brother, because this thing wasn't about who's right and who's wrong. It was about coming with some energy so we can recreate this wheel that don't roll for us. So, and I appreciate you guys being there, but we really want to talk to the entire community. So there are some sisters too, like the sister that put all this piece together. She did a shoe drive prior to this day, and it's about giving. You know, giving this information, giving these material things that some people need. Some of us need shoes on our feet. Some of us need clothes. I didn't see the U.S. government truck pull up here and say, who needs some shoes? I didn't see that. This sister raised these shoes and brought all this material in to help other people with it. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back to that because this is a point that we really want to capture. You know, and this little energy you see floating around here, I'm loving it. Yesterday I was like, leave me alone, let me, you know, because that's the energy I love, because we got to let the seed grow. And the only way the seed going to grow if we bounce off each plant, like a bee. And he going to pollinate these plants and he going to allow it to be fruitful and feed other things. So we coming right back with the mother of this seed.